Last time on New Hope, Goten finally emerged from the Room of Spirit and Time, and without a moment to spare as Krillin found himself on his last leg against Cell. Though a close battle, it seemed our heroes would come out on top as the young fighter unveiled a Super Saiyan 2 form. Alas, the villain's newfound regeneration and recovery abilities placed Goten himself on the ropes. Will he be able to do what his brother and father couldn't in this timeline? Or is the Earth doomed to fall to Gero's creation? This is part 9 of an ongoing series and was created by DB New Hope. Support them and catch up fully using the links below. Sorry to disappoint you, Krillin. Driving his hand through Goten's chest, the Fiend chuckles that it's too bad the boy gave his only senzu bean to Krillin. Kicking him, he further torments, that's one little vermin taken care of. As these events broadcast their way to the lookout, the sight is too much for the concerned mother. Krillin rushes over to his ally shouting for him to hang on. When Dende telepathically contacts him, he's heading their way to heal Goten. Furthermore, Bulma is about to summon Shenron like he asked. With the wheels turning, albeit on a pretty rough trail, the cyborg thanks him. But gazing down at his student, he urges the Guardian to fly faster. Goten is in really bad shape. In the meantime, he'll distract Cell. His first priority is to heal Goten. Krillin pleads with the boy to hang on a little longer. Dende will be here soon. He begs for his forgiveness. He put his life on the line to protect the Earth, so now it's time for himself to do the same. Cell radiates with power as he chortles. Krillin is the only one to blame for this. All those years he's fed this child delusions, convinced him he could do the impossible. Cell himself would be ashamed if he were in the cyborg's place. What a pathetic master. With the others, Shenron towers above the lookout. He informs his summoners that his power has recently been increased, meaning his wish-granting abilities can now do more than ever before, though in return, he can now only grant one wish once again. Bulma can only hope Krillin knows what he's doing, but here it goes, as she begins to state her wish. Cutting away to Cell, the sky darkening so suddenly appears to startle him. That's when he remembers. On one of those planets, someone told him that the legends say that when one of the dragons is summoned, a dark night engulfs the entire world. He screams at Krillin, demanding to know what he's done. The Earth's dragon was just summoned, wasn't it? What did this pathetic insect do? Who calmly confirms that his foe is well informed. Without revealing exactly what they wish for, our hero's only goal is to just hold on until Dende arrives. Krillin rips off the top of his gi to showcase an X-shaped scar. Whatever it is, he thinks to himself that it should be right here. Gruesomely digging into his chest, he retrieves a device of some kind, seeming to be part of his android anatomy. Whatever it is, Cell recognizes it right away. He asks if that's and it is. It is indeed Krillin's power core. From now on, he'll be fighting as a human. It's the least he can do for himself to honor his last battle. Though shocked, the villain takes in the situation. So Krillin has decided to just deprive himself from using his android abilities. He really is pitiful. As his energy begins to rise, he explains that since Cell has never been human, he doesn't expect him to understand what he's saying. Despite the amazing perks this core brought him, this hunk of metal was also preventing him from being in perfect sync with his body like before, which also kept him from using a few certain techniques. Techniques which will allow him to kill Cell once and for all. What? Behold my ultimate! Kaioken! watching on. The others shout how incredible Krillin is. He's going to win. He's got Cell on the ropes. But Roshi isn't convinced. Sure, he's got the advantage for the moment, but what does he mean by that? He tells how Krillin is already feeling the drawbacks of the Kaioken. His body hasn't been trained to withstand so much power. He's putting his life on the line to save Earth. The real question is, how long can he keep this up before his body breaks? Catching his breath, the battle-worn Cell stutters that this is intolerable. How dare this miserable human? With whom Krillin can barely stand due to the strain put on his body. He knows he needs to get this over with, fast. Causing the villain to smirk, he informs that this is merely a minor setback. Placing his fingers to his forehead, he claims he'll be back soon enough. But nothing happens. He tries again, visibly frustrated. Wondering what's going on, he can't feel any key signature anywhere. Which means Krillin was right. He smirks that he was sure that if the situation turned against Cell again, he would attempt to flee like the coward he is. So our hero made sure to use the Dragon Balls to wish for all life force in the universe to be concealed for a few hours. Now Cell has nowhere to run. He's stuck here.
What have you done?
You're gonna pay, Cell! Kaioken!
You're going to have to make a choice, Krillin!
Goten! Deflecting the blast and saving Goten's life. The explosion isn't lost on Dende. He prays they hang on tight. He's coming. Leaping back into the sky, Cell yells that it's time to put an end to this nonsense. Still trying to hold himself together, Krillin mutters that he won't let him, getting ready to power up another Kaioken. But his body is at its limit. While he struggles to get back on his feet, he knows all he needs to do is stand up one last time. With King Kai, some of the familiar gang washes in on the battle. Yamcha fears that Krillin can't fight anymore. This is the end. That piece of trash Cell always finds a way to escape. Tien points out that Dende is still several minutes out from helping, and that's only if he gets the chance to help at all. As Kid Trunks rushes over to catch up on the action himself, his future iteration begs Kaiosama to let him go to the battle. Cell is weak and he won't have any problem finishing him. He can't just sit around while the Earth is about to be destroyed. Maybe because there's little choice, or maybe due to a bit of favoritism towards our heroes. The deity grants his request. Trunks may go. If he flies at full speed, he should be able to make it to Yema's check-in station in a matter of seconds. He will be alerted of the Saiyan's arrival and intentions. Happy to get this answer, Trunks powers up as his teacher informs him that once he's there, Trunks will be teleported to Earth for 24 hours before coming back, urging him to leave now and get rid of that monster for them all, assuring they can count on him. His child counterpart powers up too, telling his big bro that he's coming with him, but there's no way his other will allow that. Ignorant to what he'd be facing, he pleads to be allowed to go to Earth too. He also wants to fight Cell, but future Trunks has had enough and states it's far too dangerous, and he's not near strong enough to face him. Countering, he may not have trained in a long time, but he can still be useful, whether he agrees or not. Kid Trunks shouts he's coming with him. The time traveler cuts their conversation short and blasts away at full speed. Watching him leave, Tien can't help but point out that Saiyans never were good with pedagogy? Pedagogy? Which, according to Google, is the method and practice of teaching, especially as an academic subject or theoretical concept. Anyway, Yamcha just hopes he makes it to Earth in time. Though something appears to catch the attention of King Kai, currently the only one able to still see the fight. Meanwhile, Trunks shows nothing short of determination and fury in his eyes. He barks Cell to just wait. He'll take care of him. Jumping back to the battle, Krillin is still unable to find his legs. At the same time, Cell screeches at the reality he's faced today. He, the perfect being, humiliated by the pathetic Krillin. It's unforgivable. Does he really think that he's stranded here on Earth? He seems to be forgetting that he can survive in space. He'll just blow up this planet for good. Trying everything he can to just move, Krillin knows he has to do something to stop this monster. He can't afford to be weak. Not now. Not again. Screaming at himself to get up. As Goten begins to cough, weakly stuttering for his teacher's attention. He wearily tells him that he's cold. What's happening? Krillin curses himself. He feels like such an idiot that he's lost himself in anger and despair. So much so, he had lost the very reason why he's fighting. He thanks Goten. He has made him realize that. Although it feels otherwise, he is not fighting for vengeance, but to give humanity a brighter future. Wu only continues to shudder as he speaks. He apologizes that he wasn't up to the task. He, like his brother and father, has failed. His mentor snaps for him not to say that. He's been incredible. He must not lose his confidence in his own abilities, because now, a great responsibility rests on the young man's shoulders. He is Son Goten, protector of humanity. And Cell, he promises Cell that he will die today. Finding the will to power up one last Kaioken. It's incredible. The villain reaches out his hands, furious at the sight below. He bellows that he'll make Krillin disappear alongside of his planet. Almost ironically, Cell begins to charge a Kamehameha. Krillin believes it's the perfect time to finally use what he's been saving. This way, he doesn't have a chance of damaging the Earth. Of all of the Dragon Warriors, he has to thank Chaozu for this moment, his old friend. He thanks him for granting him the opportunity to study the Forbidden Scrolls. Our hero sneers that he will personally be escorting this monster to Yama's place. But his student has no idea what's going on. He beckons his teacher what he plans on doing. Turning, he pridefully explains to the child that he has no idea how proud of him he is. It's been an honor to have him as a student. Krillin will soon join his friends, knowing the Earth is safe with him to protect it. He thanks the boy for giving his life purpose again, bidding him goodbye. Reflecting on the events of the last couple decades, Roshi proclaims that the greatest warrior this planet has ever had is none other than Krillin.
Stay away, you Friesen! Your time has come, Cell! I will disintegrate you to your very last atom!
It's finally over. Goodbye, my friends. stop shaking. King Kai slumps over and announces that Krillin did it. He destroyed Cell at the cost of his own life. When Trunks finds himself at Earth's check-in station, he rushes in shouting to Yama that he has to go to Earth immediately, on King Kai's orders. However, the judge of all smiles that there is no need. That piece of garbage Cell is finally dead. Krillin was incredible. He sacrificed himself to save the Earth. Although a little taken aback by this news, looks like Yama and the others were watching in on the fight too. On the lookout, Bulma belts out in anguish at the loss of yet another longtime friend. Chi-Chi is still unconscious, and also heartbroken. Roshi offers the student a symbolic last farewell. Better late than never, the Guardian of Earth dashes towards Goten, promising him it'll be okay. He's here to heal him now. And luckily, he jolts awake, though immediately absorbs the impact of what had just happened. Krillin is dead. With few words of comfort, Dende only offers his condolences. Krillin's plan worked perfectly though. He planned it down to how he wanted to go out. He was determined. He gave his life to save Earth, and he died a hero. Silent, the boy mentions he would like to be alone for a moment. He'll meet him back at the lookout a little later. Understanding, Dende implores him to take all the time he needs. He'll inform his mom that he's fine. With Dende flying off, he screams out after his master. Blaming himself, he cries that everything is his own fault. A short amount of time passes. Goten greets his friends and family. While the Earth will certainly feel the loss of the most unexpected hero it's ever had, this day wasn't for nothing. Krillin may be gone, but behind, he has left another that will stop at nothing to honor him and pick up where he left off. In Otherworld, the Earth's savior has a lot of catching up to do. Trunks can't believe he beat Cell by stacking the Kikoho on top of the Kaioken. He's reached an incredible level. He thanks his friend, but as Trunks can see, there was no way he himself could actually survive a combo like that. But he's glad to know that Cell is finally in hell where he belongs. Krillin then asks if Goten and Gohan are also at King Kai's. Though unfortunately, he won't get to see them. 5 years ago, after the Otherworld tournament, there were rumors of powerful beings living in a world stuck between heaven and hell. And, well, he knows Goku and his dad. Piccolo and Gohan also went. There hasn't been any news of them since they left. For some reason, likely simple confidence in his friends, Krillin only laughs that it sounds like they haven't changed a bit, questioning who won that tournament he mentioned. And after beating Goku, Gohan won in the final against Trunks' dad, which annoyed him a lot. But that's Vegeta for you. For Trunks himself, after all these years of training, surely he must be crazy strong as well. Which is true, he's gotten a lot stronger with time. But since Vegeta left, he's been slacking off on his training. However, seeing Cell again woke up his Saiyan instincts, so he picked himself back up. He's also glad to know the Earth is finally at peace. Speaking of which, Krillin has to apologize for Trunks' own timeline. Surely it's still plunged into chaos. And not a day goes by without thinking about it for the time traveler. Krillin should know though, his mom's goal when creating the time machine wasn't to save their own timeline, but Goku's timeline of the past. She considered her timeline lost. So today, her mission was successful. Trunks can't even imagine all the horrible things happening in his future. But one thing's for sure, his mother is a fighter, and he knows she's doing fine. As the conversation tapers off, Krillin begins to descend to greet some old friends and his new home. Meanwhile, in the future timeline, you're 798, nearly 20 years after the initial android invasion. Somewhere in space. In a ship marked Hope, a voice narrates to herself that it's been 10 years. 10 years since that monster appeared there. She will never forget the time she saw it on her surveillance drone's video feeds. A hideous giant insect sucking the life form out of humans with its tail. He said his name was Cell. Dr. Gero's ultimate creation, created to achieve perfection by absorbing 17 and 18. That piece of crap Gero had no limit. Cell's only goal was to hunt down survivors. The monster probably wasn't strong enough for 17 and 18. Unlike them, Cell could sense human ki. It became impossible to escape him. Half of the Earthlings were wiped out within a couple months. That's why she herself decided to flee the planet in search of. Before she cuts herself off, deprecating that she's become crazy talking to herself out here in space. It all got so much worse since he left 14 years ago. With her hands on her face, she mumbles that she misses her son so much. When the lights on her console begin to beep and light up, thinking there could be no way. A robotic voice chimes out.
Data scan completed. Main objective match. 99%.
Future Bulma has finally found new Namek.